Class and Socioeconomic Status, Northern Virginia Community College, EDU 204. Professor Ashley Wilkins. After this video, you should be able to describe the measures of socioeconomic status that contribute to a person's economic well-being, analyze the class differences that exist in the United States, understand the struggles in which people have been engaged in to reduce economic injustice, probe the interaction of class with race and ethnicity, gender and age, and its impact on inequality. Develop curriculum and instructional strategies and create classroom environments that open opportunities to students from all socioeconomic groups. Socioeconomic status. Socioeconomic status, also known as SES, acts as a composite of the economic status of a family or individuals on the basis of occupation, educational attainment, and income. The socioeconomic status of a family makes a great deal of difference in the experiences of children throughout their childhood and formal schooling. There are 5 determinants of socioeconomic status: income, wealth, occupation, education, and power. Income. Income is the total amount of money that one earns in wages or salary in a year. Income sets limits on the general lifestyle of a family and controls their consumption patterns. Wealth. The net worth of a family includes savings accounts, insurance, corporate stock ownership, and property. 40% of all families have 0 or negative net worth. Wealth provides comfort, security, and often power or access to power. Occupation. Occupation generally determines income. White-collar workers are those that do office work and typically supervise others. One's occupation is generally an indication of one's education and degree of authority and responsibility over others. Education. Education is viewed as a way to enhance socioeconomic status. Higher family socioeconomic status means a greater likelihood of entering and completing college. Educational credentials are more likely to be achieved as a result of family background rather than other factors. Socioeconomic status has substantial influence on the amount and type of schooling students receive and the type of job they will obtain. Power. People at the upper socioeconomic status levels exert more power than those at any other level. Persons with higher incomes are more likely to participate in national and local politics. Education is not exempt from power struggle. Wealth and influence can create an uneven playing field for many students. Class differences. Although many Americans identify themselves with the middle class, most people in the United States are not affluent by U.S. standards. A medium budget that allows a family of 4 to meet basic requirements would be above $48,000. In 2013, over 1 in 3 U.S. families earned less than $50,000. Poverty. Poverty is one of the major challenges for societies around the world. 12.3% of Americans live in poverty as of 2017. Education is not exempt from the power struggle. Wealth and affluence can create an uneven playing field for many students. Unemployed and homeless individuals suffer the most. 3.6% of the U.S. civilian workforce is unemployed, according to data from May 2019. The working class. The working class includes those involved in manual labor. The working class often have less job security, the work is more sporadic, and unemployment is unpredictable and affected by the economy. About 68% of the employed population are considered to have working class jobs. Those at the low end of the pay scale are considered to be the working poor. The middle class. The middle class has occupations and incomes that vary greatly, between about $33,000 a year to about $145,000 a year. Some middle class members have comfortable incomes, but little or no wealth, little savings, and no protection against catastrophic occurrences. The middle class includes white-collar workers, such as professionals, managers, and administrators, who have more prestige than other white-collar workers. The upper middle class. This group includes the elite of the middle class: judges, lawyers, professionals, managers, and administrators, and perhaps physicians, college educators, and scientists. Their professions usually require advanced degrees and credentials. The income of some allows a lifestyle different from blue-collar and white-collar workers. The upper middle class includes two groups. First, those who inherited wealth from their families, and second, high-level administrators, major stockholders, and professionals. Disparities in wealth between this class and members of other classes is astounding. They earn about 260 times as much as the average worker. They are typically a homogeneous group of well-educated, white, Protestant members born in the United States. Struggles against economic justice. The disenfranchisement and labeling of the poor have deep historical roots, with land ownership being a source of wealth and power. Early laborers and poor individuals were stigmatized as lazy. The rise of unions in the 19th century marked a fight for higher wages, better working conditions, and collective bargaining. Strikes and conflict between workers and employers resulted in progress, but faced opposition and government intervention. Progressive policies emerged before World War I, with regulations on labor and antitrust legislation. The era saw notable strikes such as the Lawrence Strike and improvements in working conditions. However, the Great Depression reversed progress, leading to widespread unemployment and poverty. In the 1970s, equality expansion halted, as Richard Nixon's election led to reduced protections for the poor. The Supreme Court's decision in San Antonio Independent School District versus Rodriguez allowed unequal school funding in Texas. Industries moved to the non-union South, and income inequality grew. After 9/11 and the Great Recession, workers faced job losses, reduced wages, and housing crises. Union members declined, but teachers' unions saw a resurgence with strikes in 2012 and 2018. Racial and ethnic inequality. Income differences between whites and persons of color, and between men and women, continue to exist regardless of education level. People of color are more likely to be concentrated in low-paying jobs. African Americans and Hispanics are heavily overrepresented in semi-skilled and unskilled positions. Gender inequality. Women earn less and are more likely to suffer from poverty than any other group. The reasons for gender inequality are based on institutional discrimination in a patriarchal society, in which women were expected to be wives and mothers, not part of the formal workforce. Age inequality. The highest incidences of poverty are among young people. 1 in 5 children are officially considered poor. Poverty impacts academic achievement, high school graduation rates, and reading skills. Classroom implications. The intended goal of increasing income equity and eliminating poverty through education has not been realized. The social and economic conditions of students' lives must be improved through higher wages and social policies that support low-income families. Teacher expectations. To reverse inequalities, high expectations for all students are critical. Teachers' classification and treatment of students based on personal characteristics and socioeconomic status perpetuate inequalities. Low-income students often receive less support, face biased judgments, and are often disciplined more harshly. Teachers must work to resist classism and overt and subtle discrimination based on external characteristics of students. The hidden curriculum of schools favors middle-class behaviors, disadvantaging students from low-income families. Teachers must take responsibility to provide equal educational opportunities and challenge their own biases to support students' learning. Teachers should become aware of any prejudices they themselves hold and work to overcome their biases. Teacher expectations play a significant role in students' academic achievements. Students from economically marginalized families need support and equitable opportunities to succeed. Overcoming classism requires viewing students as individuals and combating stereotypes and discriminatory practices. Tracking. Tracking is the practice of assigning students to differential classes or school programs based on intellect or language ability status. Tracking students based on perceived academic abilities is a common practice, but it is controversial. Supporters argue it helps meet students' needs, while critics view it as discriminatory and limiting. Tracking is typically highly related to social class. A student with a high socioeconomic status is more likely to be placed in the advanced track. Tracking is often influenced by race and class, benefiting privileged students. High ability groups receive enriching experiences, while low ability groups lack challenging courses, hindering their academic progress. Tracking perpetuates social and economic inequities. Students in low ability groups face limited access to rigorous courses, experience lower expectations, and encounter behavioral challenges. Disproportionate tracking of students from low-income backgrounds exacerbates educational inequities and limits opportunities for success. Discriminatory practices in tracking are being legally challenged today. Curriculum for equality. Equality in student achievement could be increased by raising the level of instructional content and discourse in all courses at all levels. Culturally responsive curriculum acknowledges the diverse backgrounds of students and connects with their experiences, fostering engagement and relevance in learning. Teachers must address biases and knowledge gaps to support students effectively. Academic content should be authentic and relate to students' prior experiences and real-world applications. Effective teaching strategies for low-income students include discussion-based learning, authentic connections to real-world applications, cooperative learning, and inquiry-driven instruction. Interactive discussions and critical thinking promote academic achievement. Curriculum should accurately reflect the class structure and inequities that exist in the U.S. Teachers should understand the history and experiences of low-income families, incorporating their perspectives into the curriculum, acknowledging class inequities, and including diverse socioeconomic perspectives helps students recognize societal differences and fosters motivation. Teachers must also teach for democracy, equity, and social justice. Recognizing the strength and resilience of students in high-poverty communities is crucial. Informal education in these communities holds value, and formal education should complement and support cultural sustainability. All students should develop positive self-concepts and be encouraged to critically analyze societal inequities. Support for homeless students. Families and youth may often hide their homelessness as self-protection. Students experiencing homelessness experience negative school effects. Homelessness creates challenges for identifying and supporting students in school. Homeless students face difficulties in accessing basic necessities. They suffer from higher rates of victimization and exposure to risky behaviors, and they struggle to fully engage in education. These students often face health issues, delayed development, and learning disabilities. Homeless college students also experience food and housing insecurity. The McKinney-Vento Act ensures educational rights and protection for homeless children, including free transportation and enrollment without documentation. Homelessness can cause trauma, affecting brain development and learning. Supporting traumatized students is crucial for their education. Creating trauma-sensitive schools promotes empathy, safety, and care. In conclusion, schools should work toward providing assistance for all low-income students. We should listen to one of the world's most revered leaders, Gandhi of India, who said, "The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members."